What's going on, everybody out there? This is Grand Prix GTP02 here once again up here at Humble Hyundai here in North Houston, Texas. And today, for y'all's viewing pleasure and entertainment, I am here to introduce to everybody out there a vehicle that is unmistakably one of the best-selling vehicles on the roads of today. I am, of course, talking about the pickup truck. If you want a vehicle that basically has the balls to haul all of your stuff to town and back or do all the hard work for you, then you buy a pickup truck. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can buy into the pickup truck market here in 2015. You can either buy a small one, such as trucks like the former Ford Ranger, even though that's not sold here in the US anymore, the Nissan Frontier, and there's a few other examples that are kind of out and about and around in other parts of the world. But then you can get like a middle-sized truck, and usually you have to dip into the used market for that one because you have trucks like the Dodge Dakota, you have a few other trucks like that. But if you really want to show the world, you know, what kind of a hardworking person you are, then you buy something about the size of what I'm showing you here. This is a 2013 Nissan Titan Pro-4X. Now, there's a lot of rivalries in trucks when it comes to vehicles of this size. You, of course, have the big American 3. You have General Motors with Chevrolet and GMC with the Silverado and Sierra. You have Ford, of course, with the ever-famous F-150. You have Chrysler Group with their Ram series of trucks in 1500, 2500, and 3500 series. And then you have the lesser-known brands, and by that I mean brands that, albeit their trucks are built here in the States, they aren't genuine American brands. They weren't born here in the United States. And those are trucks like the Nissan Titan that you see here, and then of course you have Toyota with their best-selling Tundra. Now, for the Nissan Titan, you can buy into a whole slew of trim levels for this particular truck here. For 2013, the Titan was offered in 4 specific trim levels. You could either have it as an S, an SV, an SL, and then of course you have the Pro-4X. Now, the Pro-4X is not the most loaded trim level that you're going to find in this particular segment, nor is the crew cab option. That means that the truck has 4 full-size doors. You can get this thing in a configuration with what's called the King cab, which is basically the extended cab, which means that you have a smaller door at the rear of the pickup that folds in an opposite direction compared to the full-size front door. Now, the Pro-4X is the only one in the Titan's lineup that can actually come with 4-wheel drive, or actually does come with 4-wheel drive as standard equipment. The other 3, you can get all-wheel drive, but it's not standard on the Titan. Now, there's really only one way to get a big pickup truck like this, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to find big pickup trucks with the type of engine that you see here. In other words, this is really in regards to the statement, go V8 or go home, and the Nissan Titan definitely doesn't disappoint. It is not the most powerful Japanese truck out there, nor is it the most powerful truck of the bunch. There are trucks with well in excess of like 400 horsepower, and you know, they make all kinds of torque and so on and so forth. This one here, about 320 horsepower, which is again not the most powerful truck out there. But seeing that this is one of the longest running trucks that Nissan has ever made, aside from the Frontier, which really that's their only 2 aside from their Armada, which is basically based on the Titan but with an SUV's back end on it. The Titan has been around actually since around 2004 to 2005. So it is one of the longest running pickup trucks that you can actually buy on the roads right now. And that's, of course, not including the Americans. I'm just talking about Japanese trucks. Now, you can get the Titan with a 6-cylinder engine, but really the best option is to get yourself a big old V8 pickup truck. And one of the other things that I've noticed about these Titans and all these different pickup trucks in the modern market nowadays, you really have some of the most unique storage spaces built into the exteriors of these pickup trucks that I have ever seen. Some of the dominant examples I can think of are like Ram, with the Ram box. It's usually this big storage area. These rear fenders and quarter panels, those are usually hollowed out, and there's this big box that you have to unlock with the key and it folds up. You can store things like guns, maybe tents, a chair, something like that. But this Titan here has a real interesting one. If you looked at the right rear of this pickup, you can see that it looks like a normal rear quarter panel. There's nothing here, as you can hear. There's solid metal there. But if you walk around to the left-hand side, all of a sudden, there's a little latch right there. And it's very interesting actually how this truck works in terms of storing things. So I've got the keys right here, and how this works, and this is going to be difficult to do one-handed, is you basically open this little tab, take your key, if it'll go in, take your key and insert it into the keyhole, turn it, and as if by magic, all of a sudden, you've got a nice little storage cubby in here. Now it does have a small shelf that is movable. As you can see, you've got two different shelving areas. You've got a small little storage down below. So let's say you have something bigger, pull it out, and you put the shelf up here. Then all of a sudden you have a little bit more storage underneath. So I'll take the key out, and then you just slam it shut. There you go. Now your stuff is stored, and it's not really shaking around and all sorts of stuff like the Ram box would. Now, when it comes to full-size pickup trucks, the Titan, believe it or not, is actually one of my favorite trucks. I absolutely adore these things. Ever since I first drove one way back in the mid-2000s when I was working valet, I really fell in love with the size of this thing. I mean, you get inside, you feel like you're sitting in a house on four wheels. Now, a few other quick facts before we continue on. This one here is finished in graphite blue, and it's paired with a charcoal cloth upholstered interior. And I will tell you, I absolutely adore this graphite blue. It's a real interesting color because if you look at it on a cloudy day like we have now, it's kind of this dark, almost navy bluish kind of color. You do see a little bit of a lighter tone to the blue itself compared to like a deep sea blue or something like that, like other vehicles might offer. But this truck, you can get it in the pretty basic colors. You can get it in red, white, silver, black, blue, and I think there's like a frosted gold color as well. And of course, you cannot ignore that massive front end. It is the same end as the Nissan Armada. As I said, the Armada is based on the Titan, carries the same engine, does the same things as it, but it's been converted into a 7-passenger SUV rather than a full-size pickup truck. As you can see on the Pro-4X, you got standard halogen headlights, you got standard fog lights, you got this matte silver finished grille, which is absolutely awesome. This one here, I don't know if this is standard or not, but it looks like someone's added this skid plate underneath. Somebody who's actually owns one of these may be able to attest to that. Of course, you got to have a couple tow hooks on the front to get people out of trouble. And then, of course, one of the defining features that you can get on a Pro-4X are these graphite painted aluminum alloy wheels. These are 18 inches in size, and they look absolutely awesome, especially with this blue, the sort of kind of medium blue with these dark gray wheels. They look absolutely awesome. And of course, as you can see on this one, there is a lot of suspension travel in there. You can look all up and down in there. I could probably fit my head in that hole. I don't really want to try, but there is, let's just say there is a lot of suspension travel in there, and that's all thanks to the upgraded off-road suspension. Again, like I said, the Pro-4X is the one that comes standard with all-wheel drive. So if you liken it to the competitors, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit before, it's like what Ford did with the FX4, it's what Chevy did with the Z71, and so on and so forth. So really, if you can think of this as the real off-roader, if you want a truck with standard four-wheel drive, this is what you look at. Now, when it comes to actually getting into the vehicle, of course, you have standard keyless entry. Here's the key for it. Now, you get 3 keys with these things. 2 standard ones, which look like this. As you can see, that's your standard Nissan key. There is a little transponder chip in here, so don't lose it. But then you also have the valet key. Now, this basically means that a valet, when you know, if you want to take this pickup truck to dinner or whatever, excuse me, you can take this key, hand it to the valet. They'll still be able to start the vehicle, but they won't be able to access things like the glove box, the tailgate, and other stuff like that. I don't even think they'll be able to access that storage area. But this one, as you can see, it also does come with standard keyless entry, so go ahead and open it up a little bit. And the doors on this thing, it's like opening a vault door because it is just so big. And of course, the step-in height is going to be extremely large, but as you can see, I mean, the doors are just huge, and the door handles, I mean, look how hard you have to grab onto that. It's just this huge door handle, which is awesome. Now, as you can see, being the off-road version, you're not going to find anything like chrome trim pieces. About the only bling you're going to find is the stuff on the side door here. Other than that, the interior of the Pro-4X, this is where I really like what Nissan did. Back in about 2012, I think actually starting in 2013, they updated things like the design of the steering wheel, the design of the center stack. They gave it these awesome white face gauges, which I think those have been around for a little while longer than 2013 to now. But other than that, you also do have a few other powered amenities. You have your power mirrors, power door locks, you have your window locks, automatic up, down, driver and passenger window in both directions. Then of course you have your door lock located in kind of a odd place. Then of course you have this massive chunk of plastic that is this door handle here, really large, very similar to a lot of pickup trucks out there. Then of course you have bottle holders, a little bit of bottle storage. And as I said, this one here, along with the graphite blue exterior, this has the charcoal, I guess they call it charcoal 2 cloth upholstered interior. You kind of have this checkerboard pattern here. You have the Titan embroidery, which is really nice. I wish it said PRO-4X. It would have made it a little bit nicer. But anyways, when you get into this vehicle, it is, of course, it doesn't greet you with the most luxurious appearance, but nevertheless, it is hardworking, and being cloth seats, they're a little bit easier to clean as well, aside from leather. They are power adjustable, so you got power recline, power distance control, no power lumbar as far as I know. I think that's right here on the seat. You just, yep, you can see the seat move. When I move that lever, you can see it kind of expand a little bit. So no power lumbar support there. But nevertheless, stepping into this thing, of course, it's a pickup, so you got to step up and into the cabin. And I will tell you, sitting in a big pickup truck like this really brings back memories. I love that feeling of sitting a mile high in the air. You just feel like you could own the road. Well, don't get too cocky with that, because I've seen plenty of these things get in accidents because of such. But here on the steering wheel, again, you see a lot of Nissan's design language coming from their other vehicles, kind of translating into the Titan. You can see the steering wheel design, very similar to a lot of Nissan's cars from around this generation, the big split spoke at the bottom. This one is leather trimmed. You do have a leather trimmed steering wheel, along with a leather trimmed shifter knob as standard, so nice and nice little touches of comfort already. As you can see, like I said before, these white face gauges, I absolutely love them. And everything around this interior, I mean, it's not, of course, the interior is plastic, you know, being like that. So it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. But again, like I've said in so many of my videos before, I mean, it's not like anybody's just gonna touch all of this. I mean, yeah, if someone's head hits that, it's probably not gonna feel too nice. But, I mean, you know, if you're not going to be one that's going to be fascinated by a stitched leather dashboard unless you're in like a luxury car. But one of the things that does fascinate me about this particular pickup is how they've done the center stack. Beforehand, it kind of curved up and away from you. It didn't really have this screen here or anything like that. That's a option that's now been added to a lot of Nissan's vehicles, this sort of small configuration. It does have a backup camera. I'll show you that here in just a bit. As you can see, just your standard functions: scan, CD player, AM and FM, CD, and auxiliary input, which your auxiliary I think is located in here. I'll find that out here in just a bit. You got a single zone climate control system, so your fan over here on the left, temp over here on the right. You've got your front and rear defrost, air conditioning, recycling, and all of your different climate zones in the middle. Up top, you got a few controls. You got some like a sunglasses holder of some kind, and it doesn't seem to want to come down. Then of course you have the little mic button, or the little mic hole I should say, for the hands-free Bluetooth, which is right here on the steering wheel. Then you've got this function which controls that huge power window right back there, and I'll show you how that works here in just a sec. A little more storage, sunglasses holder, but no sunroof. I don't think you can really get a sunroof on these big pickup trucks. It kind of ruins the rigidity of the vehicle. But anyways, there's only one thing that I really love about this truck as well, and that is the noise it makes when you start it. It sounds like a race car when you fire it up. So you put it in, typical Nissan chime, kind of sounds like they stole it from Honda way back in the day. As you can see, this truck here has actually done very few miles. This is a 2013, and it has only done 16,361 miles. But when you turn that key, you just get that wicked kind of race car spin over of this huge VK56DE 5.6 liter V8. And I'll tell you, it just sounds so good, and you can feel it really rocking the truck. This is what I was talking about earlier, moving away from that. You can see that this display is basically taken out of like the Nissan Altima, the Sentra, the cars that have this little, I guess it's like a 4.3, 4.5 inch touch little high definition display here. Like I said, it does come with a backup camera, so if you put it in reverse, it does have the backup camera on the tailgate. Not all trim levels will come with that, but you know, for those of you who want a little bit more luxuries, you're going to get that with the Pro-4X. As far as the transmission goes, this is their old 5-speed automatic transmission. It's paired again with that big V8 up front. You got all your low gears. You got first, second, third, fourth, slide it all the way over, that's drive, and then neutral, and then on up into park. You do also have the auto door lock, so when you put it in gear and you start moving, the door locks will actually lock themselves. One of the things that I actually like about this pickup, because a lot of Nissan's cars, especially ones with the proximity or the intelligent key and push button ignition, they usually you have to put it in park, and once you switch the ignition off, that's when the door is actually open. So it's kind of cool that you have a little bit of a child safety lock there. You can see you've also got these alternating current areas down here. These are for alternative plugs. You've got a locking rear differential. You've got a tow mode, which is awesome. And then of course you have your 4-wheel drive system. You can just leave it in park. You turn it once. And as you can see, your little display up here tells you that you've activated the center differential, and you've also now engaged the front wheels as well. You take this, push it in, and then turn all the way over to engage 4 low. Now you can do all of this with the truck in park. I don't recommend doing it on the fly, but if you push in, again, you can see you go 4 high. You don't even have to push in, turn it all the way back. Now all of a sudden you got 2-wheel drive all over again. So you do have the ability to go between 2 and 4-wheel drive, which is very nice. As far as this, you know, your center console, as you can see, like I said before, there's your USB input. Your auxiliary, I'm sorry, it was way the hell up here on the radio. That's my fault. I think it's kind of funny that unlike a lot of other vehicles in this category, they don't put them both in the same area. I know Chevy and Ford, when they have their, even Toyota actually, when they have their radio, they usually have an auxiliary input and USB right next to each other. Anyways, as far as the rest of the interior, I mean, everything else feels absolutely awesome. The seats are nice and wide. They're not what you would expect the crown jewels in terms of comfort, but you do also have nice little armrests here for both the front passengers. Now, before we actually get on to the rest of the vehicle, I'll show you this rear power window here. As you can see, you can let it all the way down, pull the switch, and it goes all the way up. How awesome is that? So anyways, we've kind of explored what you have here in front of the driver and everything else. And we'll go ahead and grab the hood latch way under here. Roll down the window. No annoying beeps or chimes, thanks to the fact this truck actually has a key to start this bloody thing instead of a push button or anything else like that. And then of course you lift up this massive, slightly short hood. You can actually see it doesn't have much room in terms of the actual hood size itself. You can see it's actually pretty small compared to a lot of trucks, but you open the hood and there sits Nissan's 5.6 liter double overhead cam 32 valve V8. It's not direct injection, but this is, this is their VK56DE V8. Basically, they took this motor and actually shoved it into the Infiniti QX56, which is now the QX80. They actually gave that direct injection gasoline, or DIG, also variable valve event and lift, or variable valve timing. This does have VVT as well, so that's nice. The numbers are okay. You get 317 horsepower, 385 pound-feet of torque, but that's what you get with a V8. You get a lot more torque than you do horsepower. Fuel mileage, typical to be expected of a big V8 powered truck like this. You're looking about 12 city, 17 highway on regular unleaded gasoline. You can put premium in it, but that's really how cheap your wallet may feel. So neither here nor there. Definitely a powerhouse of a truck, and one I absolutely love. So now that we've had kind of a look under the hood, we've had a look inside the driver's side and what's directly in front of you, let's go ahead and look at the rest of the truck. Again, opening the doors, these doors are very tall, so you really don't stand a chance of, say, smacking yourself in the face or anything like that like you would with a car. That's one big benefit of a pickup truck. Now, stepping into the back, this is of course the big daddy. So of course you're gonna have a ton of room back here, and there's a couple advantages that I can tell you of having room like this. For one, I'm very tall. I'm 6'1", and as you can see, I have oodles of leg room in here. Another thing that I like about these seats is that they sit up higher than the driver's seat, thus giving you a view of the actual road itself. Apparently that reduces travel sickness or motion sickness, depending on how you say it. That button that I showed you up there, the one that's at 400 watt, 120 volt alternating current, that is for this little plug right here. You can actually use a household outlet you know, or a household plug to actually plug into the back of this truck. So if you have it turned on, you can actually plug something in, say a lamp, a generator, something like that. Again, it's aiming towards the workman or the workwoman, if you will. These seats do actually fold up, and I've yet to actually figure out how. I think you pull up on the little trigger here, and I'll just show you how that works really quick. Just set the camera right here without it falling off, hopefully. Anyway, you basically lift up on this trigger, pull up on the seat, and the seat automatically raises all the way up. So relatively easy to do. Now as for the back bed, and I don't think I unlocked it. Oh no, I did. As you can see, it falls pretty easily. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not like one of those bed liners where it just falls on its own. As you can see, it has kind of a gas shock system in it, which allows it to come down a lot easier. As you can see, this one's had a aftermarket bed liner put in it. It's something called a Pendoliner. Never even heard of that. But as you can see, this one here, nice and firm, a little plasticky. It does move around a bit, which I don't really like. I like the spray-in bed liners better, but neither here nor there. As you can see, it folds up with ease. Also, one thing I forgot to show you on the back bumper, this does also have the parking assist sensors on it. As you can see, nice little bit of bling on the back. This vehicle is flex fuel compatible, so that does mean you can run it on E85 ethanol, but I wouldn't recommend it. You won't get as good a gas mileage as, say, regular fuel. As you can see, there's your backup camera located right just underneath the latch for the tailgate. Now again, like I said in all my other videos, I'm not the salesperson here. If you want to check out more information on this particular Titan or any of the other vehicles that we have in our inventory, you can visit humblehyundai.com and you can check out more information via that way. As you can see, also, you have these nice little headrests. You got some little straps back here. These seats, like I said, they do fold down, or the bottoms actually do fold up, which is great. You also have this little bitty storage tray like you'd find in the back of a car. No big deal. Love that. I just always love these Titans. I don't know why. They may seem basic, but I absolutely love it. Now, one thing I just noticed, actually, if per se you have something big in the back, you can actually fold this passenger seat forward. So, you know, let's say you have something big back there, you need to make a little more room. You don't want to fold the driver's seat down because that's kind of dumb. I don't think you want to drive with your chest against the steering wheel. I've seen people try that. It's not exactly the most healthy thing to do for your body. Anyways, as you can see, it opens up the back quite a bit. There actually is a lot more room in here. You can get something a lot more long here in the front. Push this all the way back. As you can see, now all of a sudden, you've got a passenger seat again. This one's not power adjustable like the driver's side, but it also does have the Titan embroidery, which I think is awesome. Again, I wish it said Pro-4X, but that's not a huge issue. What is huge is sitting in this truck. I cannot begin to describe how much it feels like I'm sitting a mile away from the driver. It's so funny. Now, as far as the glove box, it's not the biggest thing in the world. As you can see, it's deep. I mean, you do have a lot of space, especially for like your books and stuff, but as you can see, it doesn't come out very far. It is plastic, but again, you're not gonna, you know, like really care about that kind of stuff. You're more concerned about how well this truck can work for you. And if you're in the market for a big V8 powered truck, then this is really what you need to look at. One last thing, the radio in this truck is actually really good. Take a listen to this. Love the audio system in this truck. So anyways, guys, that about does it for this full-on walkthrough and talk about the 2013 Nissan Titan Pro-4X with the 5.6 liter V8. Again, if you want to find out any more information about this particular pickup truck or any of the others that we may have in our inventory here at Humble Hyundai, just visit our website, humblehyundai.com, or you can come visit us on location on Highway 59 North in Humble, Texas, and the address and everything is located in the description box below. So I hope you guys have had an awesome time. I hope you've enjoyed this big, awesome pickup truck like I have, and until next time, guys, hope you had a good one, and take care, everybody. See you soon.